Thank you for agreeing to talk to us about your changing cards and the new release. It's very exciting. How do you feel about bringing it to market?
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. So I don't know if you know the history of it, but it was invented by Bob Swadling back in the early 90s. And when I was a kid, I absolutely loved them. Bob taught me magic when I was a teenager, so we've always kept in touch. He's been retired now for quite a number of years, and it's something we've talked about, is sort of bringing them back. But, you know, there's never been the right time until a pandemic, as it turns out. So, yeah, that's kind of why they're back. We finally had time to do it. Bob's taught me how to make them, you know, with love and care, like his always used to be back in the day. So we've had a really fun few months kind of, learning how to make them. But also what's been so great, I don't know if you've seen the Changing Cards Instagram page. We're at Changing Cards, but it's been great seeing lots of new young magicians play with them and come up with great new handlings and ideas. So if you like a good flap card, which I know Alex doesn't, by the way, but I saw the review, Alex. But no, I appreciated you said if you were ever going to buy a flap card, you'd buy one of these. So yeah, there's lots of cool videos on our Instagram page of young magicians, you know, playing around with them. And Rob James came up with a great new hand-to-hand throw. Harry De Cruz came up with some great ideas. So did Simon Lipkin. And so, yeah, they've just been great fun it's been a great project. Sort of kept me busy during all this madness.
Bob's in America, isn't he? So were you over there for a period of time?
So yeah, so Champions of Magic obviously tours around in America. So I was on a 5-month tour last year and I had a week off and I went down to Florida and so we met up and we talked about it in January and I said, let's do it. And it was like, yeah, okay. And then actually when obviously everything went crazy, I kind of dropped him a message and said, now's probably the time to do it. So the way I've actually learned how to do them is, how to make them is just through FaceTime calls, basically, and sending them to Bob for Bob to check, and then him saying, that's not good enough, go back and do it again. So I dread to work out what my hourly rate is on this. It's probably not very good. It's been very much a passion project, but I've loved seeing people really like them and have a great magic shop like PropDog stock them as well, which is yeah, really, really great. You guys have been having fun with them there too, right?
We love them. I mean, the thing that impressed me the most is considering they're handmade by you, they are such high quality. You know, the ones that you've sent us a few demos and we were so impressed with them, weren't we? I mean, we laugh about Alex not liking flat cards, but that was high praise indeed for him to say, if I was going to use one, it would be these. Because you don't know the backstory of how much he hates flat cards. But Alex saying that he'd go with them if he wanted to, if he was going to do it, he'd go with yours is very, very high praise.
The construction is very, very clever. I have to admit that when you see them and how they're made, the flat card is very, very strong and isn't going to get snagged and will lay flat. To me, it is a huge plus, and I hadn't seen that before. So I think Bob was definitely.
I think Alex. I think all of Alex's criticisms of flat cards are absolutely fair enough. You know, this is a changing card here. So the thing that you'll notice is that there's no lines on it. There's no sliding panels. There's no elastic thread. There's nothing to break. I think you probably may have seen a lot of the reviews that have come out. We've had 4 or 5 independent reviews, and they've all said that these are extremely durable and will last you a long time. I had a flat card that Bob Swadling made for me back in the 90s. I've still got it. Like, it's gone a bit rubbish, you know. It's the card, though, that's gone rubbish, not the mechanics of how it is. So they'll last you a long, long time. But I think, yeah, the fact there's no sliding panels, no lines to cover things up, there's no elastic thread, means, you know, they're a good purchase, really.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's really, really good.
So many options.
Many options.
Poor old Neela's very confused.
But you guys, I mean, I sent you guys a huge stock of them a few days ago, and I've looked on your website and seen that they're already nearly out of stock again. So
yeah,
that's real. I think the most popular one that you guys can't seem to keep in stock is the Harry De Cruz Ace and Queen Transpo. So if you've not seen this, it's just a 2-card effect. I'll try and do this in my own hand. You put the hand out like this. They get the Queen. You have the Ace. You throw it in the air. It becomes the Queen. And then the Ace is in their hand. So it's a beautiful, ready to go, you know, routine. You get both cards included, one of which, the one that goes in their hand, obviously is just a normal card. And then you get the changing card as well, which does all its work. So this has by far been our most popular one. I think magicians really like it because it's a finished routine, basically. Whereas with some of the others, it's kind of for your own interpretation. I've got one here which you also stock. This has been custom made for a customer. The lady who has ordered this wanted the colours to be in slightly different order, which but basically this is a back changer. So the idea is you can do like, let's give a little shake. It turns like this, then it will change again, and then it will change one more time. So, you know, this is not a routine, but, you know, you can obviously include it any way you like, slip it into your deck. They're fine to sit in a deck of cards in their set position. You don't want to keep them like that overnight, but, you know, if they're in a box for 20 minutes, half an hour, that's going to be absolutely fine. Yeah. They'll still work in their open position. So the way that you get them to last a long time is to make sure that they're stored flat. You know, when you're not using them, and as long as you do that, they will last you a long time. And obviously you can do that in the packaging that's supplied. It will sit in the envelope that it comes in perfectly.
And you make each one by hand, I'm assuming now at your parents' kitchen table.
I was making some earlier, yeah. Yeah, I do. Every single changing card, there's no one helping me. I make them from start to finish. Each one takes, I've got it to just sort of under an hour now. I can do, the record I've set was 50 minutes. And that was me working as fast as I could. But yeah, roughly speaking, they take about an hour to make. So yeah, they're made with love and care. It's hugely for me, obviously, that Bob's very important to me. And, you know, they've still got his name attached to them. And when, back in the day when Swaddling Magic existed, you know, just like PropDog, he had a fantastic reputation. And so I feel a kind of obligation to make sure when people are receiving these that, you know, they identify them very much still as a swaddling product. Not only that, but also with the quality of Swaddling Magic when the company was around years ago. And I know you guys understand that everything you sell is, you know, the stuff that Dave makes downstairs is always diligently made and always works perfectly. So yeah, that's kind of the thing for me. That's very important.
Does Bob know how successful they're being, how appreciative everyone is? Is he as excited as everyone?
Yeah, so Bob and Val live in Florida now, and it's been really lovely. The best one for me personally, the best bit of this project is we've really reconnected. Every day almost I'll send them a new video of some youngster who's bought it from PropDog, you know, throwing it in the air and coming up with something new. And I think Bob and Val both really love that, seeing youngsters playing with them and doing. I mean, and some of there's a you know, Luke Osland, you know Luke.
I know the name, yeah.
Look at Luke Osland's his Instagram. I mean, he came up with something. I mean, I made it and I wasn't sure how it was done. The same with there's a brilliant young magician called Ashley Goodwin. She's based in Manchester. She just posted a video yesterday of the one that you stock, the 4-face changing card. Well, you know, what's great is that you can just do that if you want, but Ashley also incorporated a little bit of sleight of hand as well. And so suddenly this card changed face 6 times and I'm watching it going, what's going on? I don't know how she's done it.
Yeah, I saw,
yeah, they're self-working. Yeah, they're self-working if you want them to be, but also if you want to add them and add a bit of sleight of hand and stuff, you can do that too. Because like we said, they're very durable. You can be a little bit aggressive with them and they're not going to break at all. So.
Yeah, that was something that impressed me, was the durability, because that first one that you sent us, we've laughed and joked about catching. That one must have been dropped 30 or 40 times within the first 30 or 40 minutes of it being in the shop. And it still looked as good as new. We were all having goes with it, and they're having a huge amount of fun with what's essentially a playing card, which is very strange. But they are really fun to use. They're just great fun to practice. It's just fun visual magic, isn't it? That's why they're so good, I think.
You were talking about catching them. If you really want a challenge and you enjoy it, then buy the Lucky Lady, which you guys stock. This is the Lucky Lady because you have to catch 2 cards of this one. So this is how you show a royal flush. Just 2 cards. So obviously for a royal flush you need a 9 and also a 10. You also need a jack and a queen. But to get the full house at poker, you also need a king and also an ace with red backs. Otherwise you'll be cheating. Catching with your left hand when you've already got something in your right is a bit of a challenge. So you do like a little bit of a challenge, that's a fun one to play with. And yeah, you guys stop that. That one's a really good deal actually, because it's $39.99 on your website, and actually you get 2 changing cards. So no, the rest of them, as you see, they're all £25 each. But with the lucky lady, you get 2 changing cards for $39.99, and you get your PropDog loyalty points as well, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for the plug there, Richard, with the points.
I think I actually prefer that lucky lady to the ace and the...
It's awesome. The lucky lady's great. The lucky lady's great. I think our favourite one, now we've actually had them for a while, is the I think the possibilities with the blank one. I've got it on the website as the blank, the custom one for mentalism. It's genius. Like, there's so much in the area of that, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that you know, there's we refer to it on the trailer as untapped possibilities for mentalism, but actually it doesn't need to be mentalism. I had someone the other day who just was going to attach stickers to it for a corporate client for something they were doing on a Zoom show. So you can just do that if you want. It's a card that is all blank, but it changes 4 times, so you can write on it or put stickers on it. So yeah, they're very popular. I'm really interested to see what people do with those. Guys, I've got an exclusive for PropDog if you want it. It's at prototype stage. It's at prototype stage, but we're going to hopefully bring back something that Bob sold 30 years ago, and hopefully PropDog will stock it. This is not available at the moment. This, like the Ace and Queen transfer, I think people will like, because it's a complete routine. So it's a card trick. You can see that they're all different. Would you do me a favour, Alex, and as I drop the cards, sorry, I need to remember to keep them in shot here, don't I? As I drop them, please say stop. Stop. Before I run out of cards, yeah, there you go. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you very well. Terrible force. There you go. Do you remember the card?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to mix it into the deck. If I don't get your card within 3 guesses, I will pay you £20. Is that all right?
You do know this is recorded. People know you've got evidence you've said that now.
Okay, I think your card now is on the bottom. This is your card, right?
No.
No? Okay, we've got 2 more guesses. Is it this one?
No.
No. On the top?
No.
Oh, okay, it's gone wrong. I have to pay you the money. I don't have any cash. Do you, by any chance, do you accept, can I pay by credit card? Do you accept American Express?
Yeah.
I'd rather not, actually.
You do? Yeah, there's high fees on Amex cards. So with this, we can. Oh, I dropped it, but there you go. It changes into the the card itself. So I'll do that one more time. So yeah, it's here, and then it changes again. So yeah, this is going to be. Bob used to sell this years ago. It's an Amex card. This is only at prototype stage. The one that we're going to hopefully have in stock soon is. It's going to be a little bit different in its construction, but you get the general idea of what it's going to be. So hopefully that will be out in the next month or so. And I'm sure it'll be available at your favourite magic shop, PropDog.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly pick some up off you. That would be great.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been amazing talking about the black cards. But I want to know, so is there anything else that Bob's got that you might be releasing?
Well, we've been talking. I don't know if you remember years ago, but he had a torn and restored card, which was I mean, it was invented 30 years ago, but it's perfect for like Instagram and Zoom shows and this kind of thing. And it's just literally a playing card that you tear into 4 pieces, and then you add a bit of flash paper, set fire to the flash paper, and the card restores at your fingertips. So we've been talking about maybe doing that in the future. I mean, these have been really well received, so I think hopefully I've got his trust now that I'm going to, look after his products nicely. And but yeah, it's something that we can't do at the minute, but maybe later in the year, early next year, something like that. So keep an eye out for it. I'm sure if it becomes available, PropDog will let you know about it. So yeah, that was always something. We've had a lot of people ask about it, actually. People who remember it go, will you also be doing the torn and restore card? But yeah, it's completely different the way it's made. And apparently, Bob tells me, even more difficult than a changing card. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I don't have the talents to make it. I don't know.
You don't have the hours to make it, I think, is the issue.
Guys, I mean, I haven't literally, when you guys you guys have ordered, you can't keep them in stock, so you keep reordering them from me. And it's lovely to get an order from PropDog saying we'd like to, but it's also, I look at it and go, well, there goes next week. because it's like they just take so long to make. But
it's really funny. It's really funny because we'll order some cards from you, and you then order cards from us to make them.
Yes, I do. Yeah. All of these cards, they're all from PropDog. So yeah, it's and obviously each one uses a number of different cards, and we use blank cards and double backers and things like that. So yeah, all of the changing cards originally are from PropDog. So that's quite funny.
That's an endorsement. Yeah, brilliant.
And just before we go, let's talk about your podcast.
Yeah, it was. I miss it. That's the first thing. I made 100 podcasts over about 5 years, interviewing. Started off with interviewing Paul Martin, who I know is a good customer of yours, and also you've sold a couple of his tricks. So he was episode 1, and then 5 years later we ended with David Copperfield, and so it was an amazing journey. Yeah, it's just like I said, I really miss it. But it was an amazing adventure, and I think I got to meet all of these great magicians like Teller and Darren and Dynamo and Copperfield, all these great names, and Andy Nyman, and it really did. It made my magic better, actually. There's I said this to a friend the other day. The biggest lesson I learned from making them, meeting all of these greats, they all have one thing in common, which is they just work really hard. It's really simple. They don't get out of bed at 11 o'clock in the morning. They don't play the PlayStation. Like they're up at the crack of dawn and they work until really, really late at night. And all they think about is their magic and their show, and pushing forward the art form that they love. And so every single one of the greats that I met, they're all like that. So none of them are an accident. There's lots of magicians, we see them, right, who get a lucky break, or they have a bit of good, they get that TV advert or something, and that's good. I think that happens to a lot of us. But the ones that become truly great, they become truly great because they just work harder than everybody else. And also, of course, they've got natural talent as well. And great ideas, and they're really smart. But the one thing they've all got in common, I think, is just the work ethic.
Talking of natural talent and working hard, your Champions of Magic was on tour.
Yes.
What's the
we really lucky. I joined.
What's the plans for that?
What's the what? Sorry.
The plans for that going forward. Well, tell us a bit about the show as well.
So Champions of Magic is an ensemble magic show. You can look it up online. It's been around for about 7 years, and it's sort of 5 magicians. So I'm in a double act with a guy called Sam Strange, who you probably know, and we're called Young and Strange, and we do big illusions in the show. We've been in the show for about 7 years. Obviously, this pandemic has put it to one side, sadly, for the moment. But there's a guy called Alex Jarrett, who's the producer of Champions of Magic, and I know he's working all day, every day to find new opportunities for it, and obviously diversifying what we do with the current situation. So the plan is hopefully to do some shows once it's safe for everybody as soon as possible. So, but at the moment, as is the case for any form of theatre, when that is, your guess is as good as mine. It's I just know that Alex is really keen to get us back out there as soon as possible, as I'm sure producers are for every type of show, like The Illusionists and individual performers who tour. It's the same with Vegas. Alex Jarrett, our producer, is actually in Vegas right now, and he's very good friends with Piff, the Magic Dragon. They've worked together for years, and Piff's exactly the same. He's had his Vegas show, and he's been making brilliant online content. He does, regular shows most days, and I know that at the moment he's making a guest spot for America's Got Talent, which I think's going to be on next week. So yeah, it's just, your guess is as good as mine. What I'll be doing, guys, until Champions of Magic's back on the road, I'll be hanging out at PropDog as much as possible, if that's right.
You're more than welcome.
Don't stop making the cards, though.
No, that won't happen. In fact, yeah, they have been. Someone said, "Well, how will you be able to travel around with the stuff needed to make changing cards?" Well, we travel around with a 60-foot-long truck full of illusions. So I think a couple of boxes, machines, and materials to make changing cards is not going to break the truck's back, so to speak. So yeah, it's no problem. If we are back on tour, changing cards will still be available. They'll just be being shipped from America rather than the UK like they are at the moment. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So at the minute, best place to get them from is PropDog anyway, because you guys ship like magic, don't you?
We try.
Well, thanks very much, Peter. I think it was, wonderful chat. Great hearing about the cars. Great hearing about your podcast too. I love the idea of you learning so much whilst doing it as well. And I know that was hard work.
Yeah, it was hard work, but it was the greatest adventure of my life, and so yeah, I absolutely loved making them, and so please, they're still out there if you want to listen to them. They're free to listen to. They don't cost anything. They're on iTunes. Just Google the Magicians Podcast. They're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. They're also on YouTube as well. So yeah, you can go and listen to them anytime you want. Some of them are really special now. Like the Paul Daniels one was, when I recorded with Paul, I didn't realise, no one knew, but it was 6 months before he passed away, and he was on brilliant form that day. But actually, as far as I'm aware, it was the last interview he ever did for the magic community. So it's a 2-hour retrospective of him talking about his career. So it was special the day we recorded it. It's even more special now. There's also ones with the late great Anthony Owen. There's one on there, and I mean, it's a little bit tough to listen to, but in a way, it warms your heart when you listen to this great guy talking passionately about all the things he did, working with Darren and Monkey Magic and all that. So yeah, they're going to be there. They're there forever. When I die, it's already been arranged that they'll be passed to the Magic Circle to look after. They're a great snapshot of that period of time in magic, I think. So the Magic Circle will look after them after I'm gone. So yeah.
What a contribution! That's, you summed it up. That it is a snapshot of those people at that time, and it is the fact they're free. The fact they're free for anybody to go and listen to. Like, I've listened to every single one. The Paul Daniels one was one of my personal favourites. Obviously, along with Dave Bonsall, who became the man I know for love. That
was recorded right where you're sat. I think it was like the third one I recorded, Dave Bonsall, and I love Dave's story. Dave's a hero, and the thing I loved about him was that he was a close-up magician, making his living, doing gigs, and that's well and good. But then was it Ring Fight Revolution was the first thing he started making for everybody, and everybody fell in love with it, and then PropDog just grew from that. And so what I loved about Dave, and the reason I asked Dave to be on the show, was that he'd taken a huge risk, really. It's very easy to just keep being a close-up magician, but actually he decided to, I assume, I don't know the finances, but I assume pump, his savings into starting PropDog. So, and you guys, anyone who's been to PropDog knows, you guys, you're great, and you can, you make everybody feel welcome, and you can play with the stuff when you go in, and Dave's downstairs, he can custom make things. And so, yeah, for me, Dave had to be on the podcast when I started it, because he had to me, a very inspiring story of someone not taking the easy road and actually going, no, I'm going to try and do something more interesting with, and look at where you are now, 5-6 years later. You're an incredibly trusted magic shop, and you guys add so much to it as well. As does Milo's always really lovely when I pop in and stuff. So your reputation is well deserved, and you can be trusted. That's the thing. I know you would not stock these if you didn't trust them, and I know that that's the case for a lot of stuff in your shop, that you stock it because it's good and it's going to work for people, whether they're a professional magician or whether they're a beginner. I know you get lots of beginners in there as well. My heart was really warmed when I was in there with you a few weeks ago, and was it Finley was in the shop, wasn't he? A young magician. He's 13 years old. He's already taller than me, which I was furious about. But I watched. I was finding cards to make these, but I stood and watched when you guys were helping him, and how you let him open things and play with them, and you put him off a few things that he was looking at, going, that's not really for you. What about this? It's brilliant. It's brilliant stuff, guys. You guys are doing great work there.
Brill, thank you. Well, it's we'll let you go because I'm guessing you've got some cards to make, but thank you very much for talking to us and being so honest about it all.
Yes,
back to making changing cards.
Clear the stuff off the table. Surely you've got a lunch waiting for you. Surely your mum's prepared lunch.
I've got a lot of work to do today, but I really hope your customers enjoy them, and if you haven't bought one yet, give one a go. I think you'll and if you don't believe us, because obviously we're financially invested, have a look at some of the reviews online. There's a Magic Orthodoxy on YouTube. He's done a brilliant independent review. David Delman, Craig Petty's done an independent review. You know, and they talk about the positives and the negatives. Obviously, it's a negative. It obviously can't be examined by a spectator, but if you watch the reviews, you'll see that's pretty much the only negative that it can't be examined. Other than that, the feedback's all been very positive. So have a look at the independent reviews if what we're saying here isn't quite enough for you. The independent reviews hopefully will convince you.
Brilliant.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Lovely to talk to you.
See you soon, no doubt. All the best.
Cheers.